Hello, thank you for joining us. My name is Chris Meckley from ACI Aquaculture. Today we're going to do a short segment on Mucidae. My favorites are Acanthophyllias, Indophyllias, Cynarinas. We have all of them here to show you the beauty of them and the diversity of them. I hope you enjoy the segment. Cynarinas, Indophyllias, and Acanthophyllias are very easy to keep. If you have a low light environment, they can be acclimated to a higher light. They need moderate flow. They love turbid water. They love to be fed. One of the things about Acanthophyllias, Indophyllias, and Cynarinas is if you don't feed them, they're not necessarily going to be as happy as what they would if you do. Like I mentioned in previous segments, corals need to be fed. This is one of those corals that is a must. We feed ours a little silver side. We even get a little bit of Upilum shrimp from the local grocery store. Make sure they're cleaned off really well. They love it. Indophyllias, Acanthophyllias, and Cynarinas are easy to care for as long as you have good water parameters. One of the things that's the biggest misconception with them is you can put them in an aquarium, let them go, don't worry about it, they'll be fine. There's a lot of corals that are like that. Not Acanthophyllias, Indophyllias, and Cynarinas. They do take some care. If you are a beginner hobbyist, they aren't necessarily the coral for you. I would recommend going with something else and graduating to them in the near future. If one of these corals is something that you really want to have, which I recommend to everybody because they're absolutely gorgeous, they come in a wide variety of colors. It is a coral that is found at the lower end of a reef slope. They're found in anywhere between 60 to as deep as 120 feet of water and possibly even deeper. But with an Acanthophyllia or an Indophyllia or a Cynarina, place them in the sand. A lot of people keep sand in an aquarium. It's not necessary. But they are found on rock structures as well. They're broken off of rock structures. They are found in the sand beds. So your best bet to keep them is somewhere between the middle and the bottom of your aquarium. When we bring in Acanthophyllias, they're one of the hardest shipping corals that we bring in. We baby them to death. Well, keep them alive, but we have a sweet spot in one of our sumps in the back that if the coral comes in, the mouth is gaping, it's not happy, more than likely, because of shipping, it has some sort of an infection from bacteria. We like to iodine dip them. Once they've recovered, we of course put them out for our customers to purchase. Or my wife will steal them and put them in her display tank. As you can see in our video here, some of the Acanthophyllias that she has taken from me that I am not allowed to sell to my customers. They range in size from very small, but don't ever take size for granted. Size doesn't matter when you're talking to a Acanthophyllia, especially. A piece that's this big could literally get 6 to 8 inches in diameter when it's happy and healthy in an aquarium. In the video here, you're gonna see one that's about 7 or 8 inches in diameter. Honestly, I can't wait to see the person that has that coral because I think it's gonna be close to 2 feet when it fully opens up and is happy and settled into an aquarium. They do reproduce sexually. They do reproduce by budding or asexually. They feed heavily on plankton in the water. They also live in fairly deep water, so they require temperatures, and I believe that all corals should be kept in temperatures between 76 degrees and 78 degrees, but in reality, where they're coming from is probably even cooler than that. So if you have the means of keeping your aquarium at 76 degrees, these corals are gonna be really happy. Part of the reason why, metabolism. It's like a reptile. Cold reptiles don't need to eat. Warm reptiles need to eat. Almost the same thing when you're talking about a coral. Very easy to keep as long as you have good water parameters. Alkalinity between 8.3, 9.3. Calcium levels at close to natural seawater as possible. Same with magnesium. And you want to, of course, keep your nitrates fairly low as well. People say they're dirty water corals. what really is a dirty water coral. Silty, turbid, it's not dirty necessarily, it's just cloudy from all the silt that's been uprooted from the turbid waters. The parameters of the ocean are pretty consistent around the world. Well, I recommend keep it close to what normal levels of seawater are supposed to be. And you should have very good success keeping them as long as you're not blasting them with a metal halide at the top of the aquarium. At the bottom of the aquarium, should be perfectly fine. Par levels from my divers and my collectors over in Indonesia say they keep them at 30 par. That's very low. So if you're looking at an Acanthophyllia, a Cynarina, or an Indophyllia in your local fish store, one thing to look for is make sure the teeth or the septa are not showing through the tissue and that the coral is inflated. If it's healthy and inflated and there's a lot of flow in the aquarium, you should see it kind of jiggling like a little bit of jello. It's one of the things I always enjoyed looking at is watching these corals just jiggle around. Beautiful pieces, all the colors that you can get with them. So as a hobbyist, make sure that the coral is inflated and happy. And if your local fish store wants to sell the coral to you, they're quite expensive in most cases. Even ask if they can feed it for you. Don't have to. As long as it's open, it's probably the healthy specimen that you can take home and enjoy for many, many, many years down the road, as long as you keep your systems as close to natural seawater as possible. Once again, my name is Chris Meckley from ACI Aquaculture. I hope you enjoyed this segment on Mucidae, Indophyllia, Acanthophyllia, Cynarina. I'm losing it.
You're doing good though.
I know, but I lost it right there.
Keeping and keep. Don't worry, keep on going.